Okay, since I'm not here, I'm going to work out strategically some of the problems from exponent number 1. The first one I'm going to work out is number 17. Now, I put 17 and 18 on the same page because they're very similar. The only difference between 17 and 18 is that 17 has a plus sign, 18 has a times sign. That makes 18 much easier. You can distribute across a times sign. That's perfectly okay. You cannot distribute across a plus sign. So I'm going to start with 17. 17, because of the plus sign, you have to get a common denominator on the inside. Let's do it in black. That'll be 1 over 2 squared plus 1 over 2 cubed to the negative 1, which is 1/4 plus 1/8 to the negative 1. The common denominator would be 8. This one you multiplied by 2, so that'll be 2/8 plus 1/8 to the negative 1, which is 3/8 to the negative 1, which is 8/3. So that one's 8/3. This one, you can just add your exponents on the inside. 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1 to the negative 1. Multiply your exponents here. Negative 1 times a negative 1 is a positive 1, and you get 2. Much easier. The next one I'm going to do is 28. It's not a hard one, but I just decided to go ahead and do it. You can distribute because there's no plus signs in there, so that's 2 to the 4th. When you raise a power to a power, you multiply, so r to the negative 4 times 4 to the negative 2, r to the negative 4. A couple of different ways to go about this. You could evaluate the exponents. First, you could move them to the bottom, or you could go ahead and add. I'm going to add these two really quickly, and just make that 2 to the 4th over 4 to the 2nd, because this one goes down because it's negative. And then that's r to the negative 8, which will be r to the 8th on the bottom. Yeah, I guess I could go ahead and work these up. This is 16. 4 squared is also 16. The 16s cancel, so that's 1 over r to the 8th. 34 is the next one. You would want to distribute, and when you distribute, you add your exponents. You have x to the first times x to the first is x squared, and then you have negative 2 plus 2 is y to the 0, which I do not need to put, so I'm just going to make it go away. Minus 3x y to the first, because negative 2 plus 1 is 3. And you leave it like that. 42. We have the cube root of 125 is 5. Well, no, let's don't do it that way. That's going to make you confused. I'm going to rewrite this as 125 to the n times 5 to the 4n times 25 to the negative n, all raised to the 1/3. Now, what I notice these have in common is they're all powers of 5. That's 5 to the 3rd. This is 5 squared, so I'm going to write them accordingly. So this will be 5 to the 3rd to the n times 5 to the 4n over 5 to the 2 to the negative n to the 1/3. Okay, that's 5 to the 3n times 5 to the 4n over 5 to the negative 2n to the 1/3, which is, if you add your exponents on the top, 3n plus 4n is 5 to the 7n over 5 to the negative 2n to the 1/3, which is 7 minus negative 2. 7 minus negative 2 is 9. 5 to the 9n to the 1/3. You then distribute. 1/3 times 9 is 3. So my answer is 5 to the 3n. That's my answer. That one was a little wild. 46. I'm going to rewrite these. That's 1 over 2 minus 1 over, sorry, 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2 squared. If we get a common denominator on the top and the bottom, it'd be 2 squared. Because you multiply by 2, so it'd be 2. This one doesn't change. This one doesn't change. So 2. So that's 2 minus 1 on the top is 1. 2 plus 1 on the bottom is 3. And the 2 squareds cancel out, so it's just 1/3. 44. I don't know why I'm going backwards. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to write them as that's 1 over 4 to the 5th. That's 1 over 4 squared. That's 1 over 4 cubed. Get a common denominator on the bottom. Leave this. That would be 4 cubed. This one doesn't change. Multiply by 4. So that ends up being 1 over 4 to the 5th over 5 over 4 to the 3rd. Now, they don't just cancel, so that I'm going to rewrite it as 1 over 4 to the 5th divided by 5 over 4 to the 3rd, which is the same thing as you leave the first one alone, multiply the second one by the reciprocal. These cancel with 2 of these, with 3 of these, and leave 2. So it's 1 over 4 squared is 16 times 5 is 80. And that's all I'm going to do. And just do whatever it says on Edmodo. I'm making this video a week ahead of time, so I'm not exactly sure how far we're going to get or what you're going to do. But hopefully that'll help you some, since I'm not here to go over homework.